Lovecraft at the Movies, Episode 3, John Carpenter's The Thing. In 1982, legendary director John Carpenter remade The Thing from Another World. This is as much, if not more, of a soft sequel than a remake. It uses a lot of imagery from the first, such as the title screen, the block of ice that the alien was inside, and a lot of the pictures of the ship being dug up. The Norwegian camp could easily be the camp from the original movie if things had not gone as well. This cuts out a lot of the middleman with the saucer being discovered and dug up. This allows them to get to the meat and potatoes of the story, which is the intense sense of paranoia and isolation. This is a lot closer to the novella than the original. Unlike The Thing from Another World, this is a true realization of the horror of what a Shoggoth is. The filmmakers take full advantage of this alien's ability to transform. It turns into people, imitating them if it needs to. It forms mouths to bite people. It forms tentacles to move around, new limbs. This is the ultimate paranoia film. From start to finish, it's just dripping with tension. This is probably best expressed with the famous blood test scene. This is just a masterclass of tension. I like how during the scene, even the characters that aren't infected look really nervous, like they're worried that they might not even be aware that they're infected. Some of the characters, such as Clark, are naturally a bit weird and off-putting, which only adds to the tension. I find myself getting pulled so deeply into the film that whenever a character suggests something, it makes me wonder if it's part of some deception, like maybe it's part of some long con to convince others that they're actually a human. Another thing that's really enjoyable is watching the characters use their heads and try to figure out ways to survive, ways to figure out who's been infected. Although this movie's very gory, it's actually very smart. There's a lot of smart characters in it. In a lot of horror movies, the characters just run around at random. Movies like this or the Tremors movies are the opposite, and it's always satisfying to see the characters put their brains to good use trying to escape the threat. Kurt Russell's character, of course, has a great introduction. It in and of itself is a deception because it makes him look like an idiot that's really impulsive when he destroys the chess computer. He's made to stand out without it being too obnoxious. He wears that big hat pretty close to the start. He has his own separate shack that he stays in away from everybody else. One thing I noticed this time that I hadn't before is that as the movie progresses, MacReady starts to resemble the Norwegians from the start of the film, as if the knowledge of the thing has kind of changed him. The image of MacReady is pretty iconic with the big rugged beard and the winter gear. He's got a flamethrower on his back and some dynamite sticks slung over his jacket. They nail the sense of complete and total isolation, the fact that the environment will very quickly kill a person if they're not protected. This movie just feels very cold, very dark. The audience can play along, playing the game of trying to figure out who is turned and when they're turned. There's been a lot of speculation about the ending. Did Childs end up getting turned? And if he did, will MacReady be able to overcome him? Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. This is a part of John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy. These are three movies that aren't set in the same continuity but share the same themes of the end of the world. The other two are Prince of Darkness and In the Mouth of Madness. The Thing's ship is a flying saucer, and if you remember, Palmer talks about alien sightings, about UFO sightings all over the world. I think it's pretty clear that this particular alien crashing in the Arctic 10,000 years ago and sparing the world is just a fluke. Sooner or later, they're going to land in a populated area and take over. This is very Lovecraftian because in Lovecraft stories, you can never truly defeat the threat, you can only delay it. Interestingly, John Carpenter didn't actually score this movie. Normally, he comes up with very iconic scores. The music is actually by the famous composer Ennio Morricone. It does sound like Carpenter made it, though. It has the same qualities as his scores, very simple. It's almost like a pulse. One thing I noticed regarding the music is they know when to shut it off. A lot of this film is just silence. As far as sound effects go, the thing screaming is very haunting. From the very start, you can tell that this is going to be something special. The intro is very stark, very creepy. Right off the bat, we get a nice mystery. Who are these people? Why are they trying to kill this dog? Why are they going to such insane lengths to kill this dog? Did they go insane? The horrors of the Norwegian camp are a good preview of what's to come. There are no boring shots in this film. A lot of thought is put into every camera angle, every movement. They play around with the light just enough that it looks good, but not enough that it becomes obvious what they're doing. And of course, no discussion of John Carpenter's The Thing would be complete without talking about the amazing practical effects work. Special effects artist Rob Bottin famously put himself in the hospital with exhaustion because of the sheer amount of effort he was putting into the special effects. I'm not sure if there's ever been a movie that had better practical effects. The actors' reactions to the gore often seems legitimate, especially during that first autopsy scene. I guess that they pulled the same trick that they did in Alien, where they didn't tell the actors what was going to happen during the chestburster scene. So when they're looking at that burned corpse, they didn't know what they were going to find. The Thing didn't do well at the box office. It only found a cult following later. E.T. had come out not that long before it, and that tends to get the blame for why The Thing wasn't a success at first. Audiences wanted an alien that was friendly, and this was a very hostile alien. It's a completely different kind of film. It probably doesn't help that there's a bad first impression with these guys trying to murder a poor dog, and then not that far in, a kennel full of dogs are slaughtered really horrifically. A lot of people have a soft spot for dogs, me included. It's also possible that audiences just straight up weren't ready for how intense this movie was. Wilford Brimley is really entertaining. He gets a really fun scene where he smashes a lot of stuff up with a fire axe. He's shooting up the place. He has a lot of nice, suspicious looks when he's first realizing what's happening and investigating things. I nominate suspicious Wilford Brimley as a meme against AI. I can't see myself giving The Thing 82 any less of a score than a solid 10 out of 10.